Thanks. Hi, Dave again from ConcertBlogger.com. Today I have the wonderful privilege to be sitting down with Delisa here at Big Picture Media. Thank you so much for your time and sitting down with us, taking some time out of your busy schedule, especially at this holiday season.
Yes, I caught me in the middle decorating my tree.
Great, awesome. Well, thank you for your time. How you doing? How's things going for you?
Things are good. Yeah, just wrapped up a tour not too long ago and was just out actually in Arizona finishing out a bunch of music.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's start at the beginning. What influenced you in your early life to pick up a guitar, to become a musician, to make it your life? Was it just something inside you that you couldn't stop, or was there a specific instance, or was there something that happened to make you aware of this is how you can spend your life?
Well, it becoming a profession kind of like snuck up on me. Like, just at one point I just kind of realized like, oh shit, like I'm doing this, like this is my job.
This is my job now.
Yeah, like when I was younger, I always wanted to be a drummer. Like that was my thing. I remember going to like church services and I would just always watch the drummer. And then eventually my parents like cut a deal with me when I was younger. They're like, oh, if you learn guitar, we'll get you, a drum kit. And during that time, I was listening to a lot of like pop punk music, like Green Day and Blink-182. And
New Hall of Famers, Green Day.
Yeah.
You're dating yourself now. All of a sudden, you're an old guy now.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of crazy.
I was listening to a Hall of Fame band.
Yeah, I was like, my big like first punk rock show was like Green Day and Blink-182. But like prior to that, I was always going to like small like local shows and stuff like that. And I was always in a band since middle school. I started my first band and just kept going at it, and then eventually was in college. Thought I was going to kind of take like a step back, and I was in one kind of like a progressive rock band that I was in, and we were like touring around and stuff in between school, and I was working on a solo record kind of just for the hell of it because I had all these songs written, and kind of it was like going to be like the last thing I did before I really like buckled down with school. And then oddly enough, someone that was at my parents' church introduced me to the producer that I work with now out in LA. This had to be like 4 or 5 years ago. And he heard the solo record, flew me out. Still at this point, I'm like thinking I'm going out there for like an internship, gonna write a little bit, kind of learn the ropes. And then it just turned into like, hey, you should, if you really want to take this serious, like you should make the move out to LA. And the next thing I know, I'm living out in LA, and someone's talking to me like, oh, like what do you do for a living? And I was kind of like, oh shit, like I'm a musician. That's so it really, I
hadn't thought of that before, but I guess I'm a musician.
Yeah, like it just kind of, it was always something I was doing, and then I guess like when it dawned on me as it like actually being like a means to an end, that sort of took me by surprise.
Cool. That's so awesome. So your parents introduced you to the guitar. Was there a lot of music around your house when you were a kid? Were they like, and if so, what kind of music were you exposed to at first? What were your first? I know you mentioned the punk rock show as the first. Was that like your first love of music? And
yeah, I think for me, I'm trying to think. Well, I would say like the first bands I started listening to were like the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I remember this band, Fastball.
Fastball. I saw them recently. Actually,
that's awesome.
They were on with I forget the You're an All-Star. Smash Mouth.
That's Smash Mouth.
Yeah, they were on the same bill with Smash Mouth and a bunch of other bands of that era.
Yeah, so like a lot of like '90s alternative rock kind of hooked my ear first, like when I was young, in like elementary school, and then kind of like where I found, I guess, like my voice, so to speak, or like where I really started to like latch onto it, and what really pushed me to want to be in a band was like when I started listening to like pop punk music and all that. Then like it really, like during that time of like '90s alternative rock, it's like, oh, I want to be a drummer and all that, and I would like play in like my church band and all that kind of stuff, and then was getting more and more into different like pop punk groups and all that. But growing up, my parents my father listened to a lot of like doo-wop music, like the Temptations and stuff like that. And then my mother was like really big into Dean Martin and like Frank
The
Sinatra.
classics. And
But like Dean Martin was like her like go-to. And the funny thing is like to be completely honest, like when I was younger, like I didn't really like appreciate all that stuff the way I do now, which is kind of funny because like I feel like most people would talk to me like, oh no, like I loved Motown when I was younger and all that. And to me, I just was like, oh, my parents listen to that, like that's not cool. But now the funny thing is like I'm talking to my parents about like oh, like you guys listen to Smokey Robinson, right? And like Al Green and all that. And now like that's the stuff that right before I was moving out to LA, like I was really starting to like dive deeper and deeper into like Earth, Wind and Fire, Al Green, all that kind of stuff that was more of like
R&B.
Yeah. Cool. So kind of like
it's so funny that you say that when you're mentioning these different bands because we just did the little session, and as you're telling me the different bands that are influenced you, I can hear them all in the songs that you just done for us, and I think that's a pretty great talent to be able to interpret people with your own voice though. So many people do it specifically word for word exactly like the original person had done it, but I think that you've been able to take those influences and add a little spice, I guess, to your own sound. So you mentioned that you've been out on the road. You actually have a little holiday session coming up this weekend here in the Northeast. Why don't you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, I'm doing a run of holiday shows. It's ugly sweater themed.
Oh, that's a big theme this with Christmas, isn't it?
I figured I would get into it.
Get into it, absolutely.
I even like made like a limited run of like sweatshirts that had like my goofy face on it with like the
ugly sweater kind of thing going on.
But we're playing over in Boston on the 19th, then Santos Party House in New York the 20th, and then Stanhope House in New Jersey on the 21st.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we can catch up there. Do you have any other plans for touring later next year and anytime next year? I guess really the question should be, what are your plans for next year?
Next year I would like to just continue to be putting out music. And I kind of do want to keep grinding out and playing shows.
Playing a few shows.
And all that. Yeah, so just kind of figuring that out as it comes. Like if no tours pop up,
something always pops up though.
Yeah, exactly.
You just have to be in the proper state of mind and the proper state of readiness to be able to take advantage when they do pop up.
But the great thing is like New York has always been like home, so to play the city has never really been much of a challenge. All the guys that play with me in the band, they're all from New York, New Jersey, and just in general, like I love playing out. So even if it's not like if we're not hopping on a bigger show, we'll go play like a
one-off show,
like a really really small club and everything, just to go play.
To play in front of people and to get it out there a little bit.
Just to stay sharp. So I think with the new year, it's really just going to be about putting out new music, trying to improve upon that, and really just to keep getting tighter and tighter.
Cool. I know one of the things we talked about a little earlier off camera was the way that you release music. I guess you release more singles rather than an album or an EP or anything. Can you tell me about your philosophy about that?
Well, right now, like my ideal situation, like I would love to do full records. Sit down in the studio, have 12 songs, write as many as I can, pick like the 12, 14 best, and put them out. But I feel like now with where things are, definitely it's like a singles driven market.
That's just the way it is nowadays.
Yeah, I feel like the attention span has gone down a little bit. Well, I should say for being a new artist, it doesn't seem to be as easy. I mean, technically you can make your own rules and all that. But what I've been doing is I'll put out like a bunch of singles, maybe like 5 or 6 in a row, and then I'll kind of compile them on to an EP, and then push that around and all that. One of the reasons why I don't sit down and do like a full record is really just because of time and money for the most part. Like it's not an inexpensive endeavor, and also I definitely hold like the idea of like a full album like very near and dear to me. So it's not something I would really want to put
haphazardly.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to like have to cut the time in half because we.
Because you can only afford so much time in the studio and
Yeah,
whatever.
So, and I'm still an independent artist, so really like all the footing the bill all comes on me at the moment. So it is a little, from a financial standpoint, it has been easier to just kind of do like 3 or 4 songs at a time, whether it's spending time rehearsing with the band and then bringing them in the studio and recording them and getting stuff down that way, or but I think all in all, I'm hoping the time will come where I can do like a full length,
On your schedule.
Yeah.
At your pace.
Because like there's obviously much larger artists that can still do full lengths because they have like a huge fan base and they have a little bit of that breathing room. But I feel like with the attention span down to like even like 6 seconds, where
if they listen to the first 6 seconds of your song and don't get that hook,
or like after after the first month, if there's not something following up that, or like people forget a lot easier, they kind of move on
to another
to the next thing.
Artist,
so.
Exactly, because you're dealing with people who like new stuff.
Yeah.
That's who you're trying to get to.
It's bittersweet.
It's there's 2 sides to the coin, I guess. That the attention span on you as an artist is very fleeting.
Yeah.
Shall we say?
Mm-hmm.
So you also have just released yesterday. You released a new video for a song. Why don't you tell me about that a little bit and what went into that?
Yeah, so I released a video for Good People, and there originally there's an unreleased video that didn't quite make the
quite make the cut.
Yeah, it was a little obnoxious, but it was a good time to make.
Maybe we'll see it on the extended version.
Yeah,
the extended LP version when you on your first CD, you'll be throw another disc in there for all the outtakes and videos. And didn't quite make the cut.
I plan on it making its way out there at some point. But this one, I basically just brought out a camera with me, like some of the rehearsals and some of the shows I was doing on the last tour I did, and I guess kind of maybe gave like a little inside look of what it was like being on the road and being in rehearsal. So it was, I would say, fairly generic video, nothing groundbreaking, but it was fun.
But at the same time, it's you.
Yeah.
So it is different.
Yeah. All right, I'll give you that.
It's different. It's you.
Yeah.
No, there were no two ways around it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking some time to sit down with us. I'll let you go finish with your holiday decorating.
Yeah. There's.
And your Stumptown coffee. We have to mention that we have some Stumptown coffee here.
Stumptown coffee here in the mix. It just keeps me going.
It keeps you going. Exactly. Well, they're New York's favorite at the moment. I guess.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sitting down with us. We really appreciate your time. We look forward to checking out the new video and checking you out around the town here in the not too distant future.
Yeah.
And hopefully this weekend.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a great day.